from Columbus, Ohio to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, from Eugene, Oregon to Athens, Georgia. Let's ride. We want to ride shotgun with you for the next hour, talking trucking with Deaton and Doty. What's going on, everybody?
Yo, what's up, Russ?
Yo, what's up?
I'm curious. Welcome to episode 31, by the way, but I'm curious if anyone knows what those cities meant.
Say him again?
Yeah,
Columbus, Ohio.
College football.
Yeah, there you go. The top
Foosball.
four in the CFP poll this week, number 1 through 4.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the
right.
city and the state. Joel, I thought you'd pick up on that.
I was, never mind. Say it again.
He's still trying to send the Pickums to everybody.
He's still trying to order an Uber.
Ordering the Uber.
Yeah, for tonight.
Did you guys get that
Buckle
taken
out
care
for
of?
$10.
Was that the college football or the top 10?
That's the CFP poll. That's the city. So it's Ohio State was 4, Oregon was 3,
Yeah.
Alabama 2, and Georgia number 1.
Cincinnati 15. Or whatever.
Cincinnati
That was
is
a joke.
5, I think.
I know.
Yeah,
They're ranked number 2, but they're still not in the.
that's an AAP poll.
Yeah.
This is the one that matters. Joining us this
They're getting the
week.
boot.
Joining us this week on the show, Ray, Jim Mackey, Atlas.
Yes, sir.
Oh man. All right.
I waited.
So two blondes fell down a hole and one said, "It's dark in here, isn't it?" The other replied, "I don't know, I can't see."
Atlas is joining us. He's the king of the dad jokes from Billings, Montana.
You just said it again, Russ. You just said
I did say it again. We'll skip that one, Atlas, and that one too.
And that one.
And then from here on out, it's on. When you hear his name, you're going to hear a joke. Lee Harrison, Nate, Kevin. Nate's going to be a little late. He was checking in the shop, and Johnny 5. Trucking News
he's
with
alive.
Ian. Wide World Sports with Joel Howe. Florida Man himself, Mike Doty. Drivers Battle Kumar with Trucking Questions with Kumar. And then the Pickum contest. So we did it half the season, which we're through that. I'm going to give you an update on that. And then, so let me do that right now. So through 9 weeks, drum roll. Yeah, I like it.
Too much.
The tie, there was a tie. It was Berkey and Ray. Ray and Berkey tied. So what we did was tomorrow night's game between the Baltimore Ravens and the Miami Dolphins. Kumar called them both today and asked them for their total of the score of the game. And Ray's total was 48, right, Ray?
I got to go back and check. But
I think it was.
I think that was Burke.
No, that was
Berkey's.
Ray's.
Was it?
That was yours. We wrote it down.
You're having that.
Y'all better straighten this out.
And then Berkey was 42. Yeah, he's got it wrote down right here. 48 for Ray. You
Yeah,
text
you're
me,
right.
Ray.
Yeah, you're right. I can't
So
remember
that's
what
going to
it
be
is.
exciting to see who wins. And then Kumar, everybody that was in, Kumar will call around and collect up the money and send it to Ray or Berkey. It'll probably, like we said, I think there's 11 of us in, so it'll be somewhere in the neighborhood of $400 for the first half. That's really cool. And we are on to the second half. So we are.
Whoa, wait. Who won this last one? Did we talk about those scores yet?
No, not yet.
That don't matter.
We're not. Yeah.
Sorry, Ian. That don't matter.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ian actually won. Ian actually won
Passed
this
over.
week.
He's just
He
passed
wanted
over.
his name called.
Yeah,
Well,
I guessed.
You know what's funny about it, though, Ian? So Ian would have tied with them also because a week or so ago, Ian would have won it, but he was late.
Zach
on
had
turning
forgotten to pick it up off my desk.
He blames it on Zach.
Oh, you didn't turn it in.
You didn't turn it in until
with
after
Joel.
the games on Sunday, so he was out. So you're out $40, buddy.
All your
Sounds
if
like
you guys
need
would have
one
been
of the
teachers,
5
the
Ps
students
of
would have hated
transportation.
y'all.
Good.
So check it out, man. Tomorrow's Veterans Day. I'm glad to have some of our vets on the show. Atlas is a vet. He was in the Army. Joel was Joel's a devil dog. Was in the Marine Corps.
That's a jarhead. Yeah.
We got another devil dog on the show. Johnny 5, sound off.
25 and 5. Get down right there.
Wait,
And-
Russ,
yeah.
what is today, though?
today is
You're forgetting one of the most important holidays.
10 November 1775, Tun Tavern, Pennsylvania. The Marine Corps birthday.
why would I care?
See? That's why, Johnny.
Because
why.
you ain't really a man yet.
Oh.
See, and Atlas, we know how this goes with these devil dogs.
Yeah.
You know,
can't
they
deny.
join the they
Jarheads.
can't pass the ASVAB, so they got to go
Oh,
that direction.
First one in, last one
please.
leave.
Hand them a pack
Someone-
of crayons and
Someone's got to get the job done.
Yeah,
Hey,
and
hey, back off my crayons.
and we've got Lee on the show. Lee's with us. He was also a soldier, like myself and Atlas. So thank you guys for your service. On that note, Veterans Day. I learned a little bit about this today. Veterans Day, Kumar dug up some information, is a federal holiday in the United States observed annually on November 11th for honoring military veterans. It coincides with other holidays, including Armistice Day and Remembrance Day, which are celebrated in other countries that mark the anniversary of the end of World War I. Major hostilities of World War I, that's hard to say, were formally ended at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918. I didn't know that.
Massachusetts.
When the armistice in Germany went into effect on the 11th hour, 11th day of the 11th month of 1918, the United States Congress adopted a resolution on June 4th, 1926, requesting that President Coolidge issue annual proclamations calling for the observance of November 11th with appropriate ceremonies. A congressional act approved May 13th of 1938 made November 11th and each year a legal holiday, a day to be dedicated to the cause of world peace and to be thereafter celebrated and known as Armistice Day. At the urging of the U.S. military veterans organizations, Armistice Day was renamed Veterans Day in 1954.
Remember that,
A
Jim
little
Mackey?
bit of information there.
Yeah.
Jim was around.
1918.
Pretty young.
That was the
So-
30th president, Calvin Coolidge.
What president?
1824 to 30th. 1824 to 1829.
Calvin Tipton.
He's my Calvin Coolidge.
Calvin Coolidge, yeah.
Yeah, he's my favorite president.
So I want to, just take a minute and thank past and present, not only our drivers, your drivers, any driver that's out there that served, friends, family, relatives, any U.S. soldier, Marine Corps, Navy, whatever service you were served in. I want to thank you for your service. That's why we all have the opportunity to be here, do the things that we're doing, and you are greatly appreciated. So tomorrow's your day.
Yeah, not the Space Force though.
Yeah, the Space Force. I like
They don't
it.
count yet.
Not yet.
Right. They don't get Golden Corral yet.
There is a show though. I watched some of the episodes. There's a show called The Space Force.
That's
It's pretty
horrible.
funny.
Steve Carell, that was horrible, man.
It was kind of funny.
That was horrible.
Like Reno
Pretty funny.
911.
Yeah, I fell off of that one pretty quick, but it was pretty funny. Yeah.
First couple episodes are good.
Yeah. So with that said, today's episode of Talkin Truckin is brought to you by Kenworth Truckworx is Kenworth of Dothan, Alabama. Over the road apparel. We just got some T-shirts and for the winter coming in, some long sleeves, work clothes for the modern day trucker. Prime Wellness and Performance in San Antonio. Al's Quality Market in Barberton. The Gator Drive-Thru in Portage Lakes.
Wow, we done?
Yeah.
Go Brown.
So, yeah, man. Let's get on to some trucking questions with Kumar.
Well,
Whoa, that's a good one.
first, I do want to. So we're going to be posting a lot more on social media.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Kumar. I
Yeah.
forgot that.
Yeah, no problem. So pretty much any social media you can think of: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Follow us at Talkin Truckin. No G's in there. And yeah, let's get on to
Yeah,
Kumar questions.
Yeah, let's get on to the questions. Before we do that, though, Joel, last week's pick, can you tell us how we all did? I know we said Ian won.
Horrible.
And that contest is over. We started a new one, but how did we do? I'm curious. You never told me what I did.
Well, sorry, Christian. I wasn't going to bring this up. But Ian got 9 wins.
So Christian must have lost. He's going to have to pay the pot for St. Jude's with the
I
Kumar
hate
question.
football, guys.
Doty,
Love it.
Mackey, Russ all had Russ had 6 because he couldn't pick Pittsburgh. Mackey had 7. Doty had 6. Kumar had 6. Zach had 6.
That's gonna hurt.
Joel had 18. No, Joel had 6. Ray had 5. And Dawson Truck Lines had 4.
Thank you.
There you
Yes,
go.
it was a team effort.
That was horrible picks for everybody.
Yeah.
How many did Atlas have?
All right.
All right.
Let me figure out how to work my computer here. Which
Push the
bear
button.
is the most condescending?
Let's say it again.
Which bear is the most condescending?
Yogi Bear.
The polar bear.
The bipolar bear.
What is it?
A panda.
Get out of here.
I don't like that attitude.
All right, cool. I like
He
it.
slips off.
Yeah, so let's get on some trucking questions with Kumar. Kind of excited this week on what Joel put together. I actually threw one in there.
It's gonna be my week.
It's going to be his
Got it.
week.
All right.
Yeah,
He's got a long
1 week under his belt now.
Kumar's not
Yeah,
going to make
well,
the playoffs.
Christian's
He's got a
paying, so we're
long
good.
losing streak.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I might as well bet on Kumar and lose twice this week.
All right, Kumar, question 1.
So wait, do I have my drivers with me? Jim Mackey, Kevin, everybody here ready?
Yeah, let's
Right
roll.
here.
I think you guys.
Right.
Time out though. Time out. Shouldn't you guys just agree on one answer though, as your group?
No.
Yes.
Don't you think you
As-
should come to a general consensus?
They'll have
as a
4
team?
answers.
As long as you guys can come up with a consensus. I'm fine with that. As long as someone
And
gets
Jim
it right.
can't answer it.
Then
Jim
I'll
can
take,
go first.
I'll take Kumar. Rush, you want to put
Okay.
another 50 on this week?
Sure.
I'll take
to the
Kumar
St.
with 50.
Jude's. Let's do it.
St. Dudes.
All right.
I got it. We got it,
Question
guys.
1.
Hey, don't let me down. This is for an extra 50.
That's it.
Drivers.
I'm Kumar.
Who's
My guys.
keeping track of all this money?
I'm keeping track. I got notes.
Mental notes.
Trust me. In December, I'm gonna be collecting from everybody.
My phone's gonna
We're
ring
gonna be
busy.
knocking on doors.
Christian, can you find us just somewhat? Carol asked me this too the other day. Can you find a way and figure out how we make the donation in December to St. Jude's?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
I can do that.
She said there's a way you got to do it.
Can we get a gigantic check?
I have one in the warehouse. Yeah.
That's
Do
cool.
you really?
Let's do
Yes,
that.
I do.
Bob
Yep.
Barker
And I have a
tips.
Santa costume. Boom.
There you
is
go.
perfect.
That's how we'll do it.
And
All
then we'll
right.
be down there. Never mind.
We will. And then let's go, Joel.
All right, guys, ready? Question
Ready.
1. How many Jacksons are in the Jackson 5? No. I'm kidding. All right. Question 1. What percentage of American goods are hauled on a semi? A, 40%. B, 55%. C, 70%. Or D, 80%. What percentage of American goods are hauled
I
on
see
a semi?
the steam coming out of his earphones.
Retention.
He has no idea.
70%.
What do you guys say?
What do you say, drivers?
I'm gonna go with the highest, 80.
Yeah, I agree with Ray.
Yeah, I agree.
80%, huh?
Well,
There's your
about that $50.
Panda.
consolidated
The
answer.
answer is 70%.
Oh, really?
Kumar got it.
Yes.
Ding, 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 ding.
Come on, guys. You got to bring it strong.
Keep
There's
your
only
foot on
4
the
more
gas
questions.
pedal.
One question,
Kumar,
right?
just take it easy.
It's only
There's
the
no
first
slaughter
one.
rule.
Come on.
Johnny, come on. Bring it. There's only 4 more questions. Oh, I
Smash
forgot.
him,
He's a
Kumar.
devil dog. He's not going to get these.
Hey, you didn't give me my crayons, okay?
Question 2. Name a product in diesel fuel that crystallizes the fuel line in cold weather. Is it A? Is it wax? Is it B? Hydrocarbons? Is it C? Paraffins? Or is it D? DEF fluid? What?
Let's go with C. Paraffins.
Paraffins.
Okay, drivers.
Driver.
Name a product in diesel fuel that crystallizes in the fuel line in cold weather. What's the product? Wax, hydrocarbons, paraffins, or DEF fluid?
Wax.
Wax.
You guys agree?
Yeah, I agree.
There you go. There's my guys.
So,
Wax. There they go.
so there's wax and diesel fluid?
And
Yeah.
B's.
Or diesel fuel?
No. Yes, there is wax in diesel fluid. That's what actually crystallizes when it gets cold. There you have
There
it.
you
I
go.
didn't know either.
I
We're
think
back.
he's starting to question whether these are real. He's like, are you sure about that?
He's on to us.
Are you sure there's wax?
That's what happened
Don't
when he
get
switched
defeated.
from the school to working in the office. Now he's
right.
got questions.
That's right. And a condescending tone on top of it.
He was too. I heard that. I picked up
Sorry
on
for
that.
my snarkiness.
He's starting to become a panda.
All right, 1-1. The good guys
Drivers.
have tied it.
Question 3. When should a driver use anti-gel? A. Before temperatures drop below freezing. B. Every time they fuel up during the winter. C. Only when it says to go on the rate con. Or D. Only when fueling in northern states.
Kumar, when should a driver use anti-gel in their fuel? Before
It's okay
temperatures
to
drop
ask.
below freezing?
My guess would be B, which is
Every time they fuel
up.
up during the winter.
Yep.
Or C, only when it says to on the rate con. Or D, only when fueling in northern states. You sure, Kumar?
I'm sure.
Is that your final answer?
That's my final
You-
answer.
'Cause if you look on the rate con,
Okay, drivers.
What was question? What was the answer to the first answer?
Before temperatures drop below freezing.
I'm
Every
gonna go
time
with that
they
one.
fuel up during winter. Only when it says to on the rate con. Only when fueling in northern states. When should a
Yeah.
driver use anti-gel? Kumar said every time they fuel up during the winter.
I'm going with before it hits freezing.
Yeah, because you got to get in your system through the whole fuel system. So you want it before
Yeah.
it freezes.
Before it freezes.
I mean, that's right,
I
but
like-
it wasn't the answer.
Yeah.
That was not the answer we're looking for.
Kind of right, but that wasn't the answer.
it's me?
Yeah.
I mean, it's every time they fuel up during the winter. Come on,
But
guys.
But it
Duh.
could be
But
warm.
No, it's
technically in
not.
the
That's
winter.
more of a personal preference.
I can tell you. I
Johnny,
can tell you why that can't be the right
Johnny's
answer.
a Marine.
because-
Can we please let Jim
Let's
Mackey
move on
answer
to the next
first?
question.
But he got
I
it
can tell you
on
why that
the
can't be the right
Get out
answer
of the
though,
shower.
because there's already antigo in the fuel that we purchased.
I think it's great when we all speak at the
We're
same
in
time.
Florida
Can you
in the
imagine
winter
hearing this?
I was gonna say too many people talking.
Jim, what'd you have to say?
When we're in Florida in the wintertime, we're supposed to put anti-gel in.
Well,
Yes.
you should if you're
In the
coming
winter
up
months?
north.
No,
Why
it's
wouldn't you if you're
global
leaving
warming.
Florida? And you could go into a state that's at below freezing.
Jim, when are you ever in Florida in the first place?
Yeah, he never goes there.
But
That's
why
'cause I
would
don't
you
send
put it
them
in Florida when you got 300 miles before it freezes and possibility of
I'll tell you
Jelly.
why.
you're just wasting it?
I'll tell you
Yeah.
why. Because the fuel, if you fill up in Florida and you're going north to Georgia and it's 28 degrees in Georgia, you've got fuel that's not treated because they don't treat it down there. So
Yeah, but when you get to Georgia, you can treat it, and therefore you're only treating 150 gallons instead of 200 gallons, and you're saving money.
well, you could
Yeah.
you could do it that
Nope.
way, but the rule of thumb is fill up in the
The
winter.
answer we're looking for.
Yeah, every time they fill up
Yeah,
in,
the
during the
answer's
winter.
I'd love to see this rule of thumb book you got, because
All right.
Now
But-
Jim's
I'll
getting a
make it
little
up for you.
snarky.
All right. What is up
There is-
today?
but
Isn't
there
there a
is
red
fuel-
microphone button you can press on some of these?
I can mute
The
everybody.
fuel's already
It's about
treated,
making
though,
and saving money.
when
What is
why
that?
would
This
you
thing?
treat? Why would you? Oh no. That was-
Why don't you ask him what he thinks? You know.
Yeah.
What do you think,
Atlas,
Alice?
what do you think?
All right. I think, how do you get a country girl's attention?
you attract her.
That
Play
is true.
Neon Moon by
Oh,
Alexander
wow.
What was the
Got
answer?
You would-
You attract her.
Oh, a
Attractor.
tractor.
Get out of here.
But also, I
Love
do
that
think
one.
that Jim is 100% right. Why would you use something and waste it?
Well, the answer we were looking for is B.
Well, I think that in general, when you fuel in the South, what if you have a load to Tennessee? Maybe not top off in Miami, but when you get to the top of the state, like Ocala area, and you need to fill up.
Russ,
Why
I'd
didn't
like,
you act
then you
Russ,
treat
I'd like to
before-
interject.
Yeah,
Hey,
go
Jim,
ahead.
can-
treat before
hey,
you freeze.
hold-
Before it
can-
freezes.
Can you guys also defend your answer of before it's freezing, because it's before
Yeah.
it's freezing in Virginia all the time. So
Okay,
would
I
you
can
just
defend
add
it.
it all the time in Virginia?
Can I defend it?
Absolutely, Ray. I'd love to hear.
Go for it, Ray.
What if I'm picking up in Laredo and going to SoCal?
In the summertime in
Why
Virginia.
would I treat?
In the summertime?
No, in the winter.
No, wintertime.
But I'm saying you said treat
would
all
I
the
treat?
time before it gets to freezing. Well, right now it's before freezing.
Yeah,
There's also
exactly.
before freezing 3 months ago.
That's right.
It gets cold
Yeah,
at night.
If I know if I'm picking up in Laredo and I'm fueling up and I know I'm going up to Ohio, I'm definitely gonna fuel up before it freezes before I get up north.
In April.
But if I'm picking up, no, all this should be irrelevant during the summer. This is only a wintertime question.
So in wintertime, if you're picking up in Laredo and you're going to SoCal, I wouldn't add it.
Exactly. Why would you treat?
Right. I wouldn't add it.
But your answer for this question was in the
Because
wintertime
it's
only.
for. This is a rule of thumb. Joel's the one that dug up this question.
hey, Joel,
He's sitting there with his head down.
Yeah, Joel just
What
signed
temperature does
Am I
diesel fuel
making,
freeze?
am I making sense though? Like,
It does
if
make
we're gonna
sense, and
fuel up
I would
if we're
do
gonna
the
fuel
same
up
thing.
Every single tank. If I know I'm going from Laredo to SoCal, I'm running I-10 all the way across.
I totally agree with that.
I
if
agree
you're
with
going,
your sentiment, yes.
if you're going from a Laredo to, Phoenix or SoCal, of course. But if you're picking up and I think the meat that really is what they're looking for is if you're picking up in a southern, if you're getting fuel in a southern state where they don't treat their fuel,
Yeah,
and you're coming up to Tennessee or somewhere, you want to treat it in the winter because it's not treated.
But you're not clarifying.
Didn't
in
it
the
snow in
question.
Texas last year too?
Southern
Wow,
states.
Joel,
Yeah,
that
was a fluke.
Where did you get this question, Joel?
Joel's texting while this is going on.
Trying to get an answer for
brings
you.
out,
I can't wait for you to
brings out
sing
the
the last
conversation.
question.
It does bring out the conversation.
45
It's
minutes.
actually a great question.
It is a good question. It's funny.
I think Atlas should have veto powers.
There you go.
You guys have veto powers with being able to summon me, huh? All right. Two guys walked into a bar, except for the third guy. He ducked.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
All
Who
right.
was that?
So where are we at? What's the score? It's 2-1.
2-1.
Kumar.
Yep.
And
My
That was a messed up
My
answer.
man.
we need Jim to bring it strong here. Consensus, guys.
Keep your foot on the gas, Kumar. Don't listen to what he's saying.
I got took for another $50, drivers. Come on.
That's it.
Oh, are we on question 4 now?
Yeah,
All right.
we are,
Stop,
Joel.
stop texting.
All right. Well, back on that question. So, when adding Lucas Antigel, how much does 1/2 gallon bottle treat up to? Is it A, 70? So, a half gallon of Lucas Antigel, we want to know how much does it treat? Is it 75 gallons? Is it B, 150 gallons? Is it C, 225 gallons or 300 gallons?
Kumar.
Can you repeat that again?
Yeah. So, a half gallon of Lucas Antigel, a bottle of. How much does it treat? How much diesel fuel does it treat up to? Is it 75 gallons, 150?
How much wood?
Was a wood chuck?
75 gallons, 150 gallons, 225 gallons, or 300 gallons. Kumar.
And what size tank do you have? I don't know, Bulls.
I'd say 300.
Well, why would you say that?
Great.
Wait,
Is
hold
that
on.
your final answer?
Well, you don't even know how many gallons your tank
Yeah,
holds,
you-
Kumar.
Oh, wait.
Thank you, Joel.
Hold on.
All right. What's your answer?
Well, it's definitely not the last one.
Now your question.
He already said it. It was
ABC
300.
order.
Oh,
Did he answer it?
Not yet. He's thinking about it.
So,
So,
okay.
when adding Lucas Anti-Gel, how much does 1/2 gallon bottle treat up to? 75 gallons, 150 gallons, 225 gallons, or 300?
I'm going to go 75.
75
Go,
gallons.
Final answer.
Final answer. Strong. He's confident. Drivers.
He's wrong. There goes my 50.
I'm going to go with 300.
300 gallons, says Ray.
Seriously? I agree with him.
Seriously?
Hold on.
Ray, just go sit on your floaty.
He talked himself out of it, Christian.
No. Joel did.
Joel
Just obliterated his microphone.
Joel was just making sure he understood the question.
I just found out.
I thought I did, and then he was like,
Thank you, Joel.
And my truck's
Wow.
not gonna be
There's
ready
no
for
cross
that.
interrogation going on here, guys. This is
Too late for that. It's already going.
okay, that's
All right,
Yeah,
we're
300
tied.
gallons.
High stakes game.
We're tied up. This is the tiebreaker.
Oh, man.
This is a good one. You got the picture ready to put up there for this question?
I never made it.
Yeah, he does.
No, I seriously.
You didn't. That's
No,
the
I-
whole point of the question.
Wow. What?
Oh, you want me to pull that picture up?
Yeah, that picture.
Oh, hold up.
Wow. We're gonna have to give Kumar some more responsibilities.
helps a little hard to find these days, isn't it?
There's a picture, so you can see the front of this truck, Kumar.
Okay. You want the front of it?
Wait, this is the same truck from
There's no all these pictures.
the
are like-
WWE thing.
In the movie.
Oh, that says it right there.
Oh, what is that
Well,
big
too late.
symbol right there? Oh, Kumar already saw it. He's cheating.
I'm sorry.
It's
He doesn't
okay.
know what that logo is.
It's okay. They cheated in the last question. Keep going, Kumar.
Go ahead.
Yeah, true.
I asked him to put the picture up. You can't see the emblem.
No, you could totally see it.
No, you can't.
In the movie, Kumar, Black Dog, starring Patrick Swayze, Randy Travis, and Meatloaf.
Really?
What kind of truck did Patrick Swayze drive? That's not it.
I know.
Is that Escape
Did
from New
Patrick
York?
Swayze drive without a CDL while smuggling a trailer full of weapons? Was it a Kenworth?
What kind of guy?
Was it a Freightliner? Was it a Mack? Or was it a Peterbilt? I had a good picture. I sent it to Zach today.
The picture was about this big.
Yeah.
Peterbilt.
But anyway, you say a Peterbilt.
Yeah,
There's a thumbnail.
You think?
I think so.
You think? Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Joel,
I'm positive.
do you have a comment?
Does that look like a Pete to you?
I'm talking
Yeah,
to Troy right
picture.
now.
Maybe I was looking at the wrong picture.
Can you show that picture again?
Sure.
Zach.
Hang on, boys.
Do you guys? Does anybody
Drum roll.
remember the movie Black Dog? Drivers.
No.
only
1988. 1988. So that's on the classic TBS classic movies.
I'm only 46 years old, guys.
Doty and I. You're still old enough. Patrick Swayze, Randy Travis, Meatloaf were in it.
Do we need another?
There you go. Can you see that, drivers?
I remember it, and I was only 4, so.
He was 4.
What year did this come out?
1988.
Oh.
That's a Kenworth.
It came out with a widescreen in
Yeah.
'88. That looks like a remake.
Oh my gosh.
What do you think?
This is the
Kumar?
DVD release.
You going with Pete? What are you doing?
I already said it.
Yeah,
I'll
he
just
said it.
do
Run it.
Yeah.
Drivers, he said Peterbilt. What do you think?
That's a Kenworth.
Yeah, K-Dub.
Ray?
K-Dub.
Kumar got it right. Peterbilt.
379.
379 Pete.
Say that. Yeah.
Maybe it's hard to see,
Nice.
but they used a bunch of them in that movie. Wow. We got
here's
smoked.
the thing.
I won.
In the first picture you showed, that was a Peterbilt, but in the second
Oh.
picture of the movie, that was a Kenworth grill.
No, it's not either. That's a Peterbilt.
No, it's not.
Do you need to show it again?
That's the
That's
movie
the-
poster.
that's the
I'm
full
the
version.
one that came up with this question. That's a Pete 379.
And that is a Peterbilt grill.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And if Kevin says it, then I believe him.
I'd have to believe it too.
Yeah.
Back when that movie was made, the Kenworths had the narrower grill on them.
Ah.
My uncle had that same
And he
truck. I think the same
he
year.
knew that at 4 years old.
So
that
does,
is Meatloaf.
does anybody
I just said I
remember the movie?
but
I
I remember the movie.
I remember it.
Yeah.
I
Is that
don't.
out on laser disc?
And Meatloaf would do anything for love at that point.
He would do
It was
anything
on
for
Beast
money at
Yard
that point.
time.
But not that.
I'm gonna have to
Meatloaf.
check this
That's
one
not
out.
Meatloaf. That's Bob.
Wow. So I owe you. I owe the 20 and 50. I have to put 70 in the St. Jude's this week.
Good to see you writing that down, Russ.
Yeah, I am. Thank God it's for St. Jude's. I don't have to send it to the Sneeds.
That's right.
Mark it down, Russ. I'll meet you halfway on that. I'll meet you halfway on it.
You
Mark
gonna
it
meet
down.
me halfway on that one since
Yeah.
since you
Oh,
helped
well,
me
you just
lose?
don't add it to
Yeah.
it. It goes to a good
All right,
cause.
half
you should just
Ray.
add to it.
Yeah, I failed you, man. So yeah, add to it, man. How's that? Do me halfway.
That's 95 if you add half.
That's, you know what's funny? I was
St.
looking.
Jude's is gonna love the show.
I know.
They're gonna love the show.
I was looking up the questions for Kumar, and I was looking up movies about trucking because we've covered a lot of them, and that movie came up, and I'm like, oh yeah, I do remember that, and I watched the trailer for it. It was actually a pretty good movie, or the trailer was good, and I remember watching it before, but I might have to go back and watch that one. It was pretty action packed, a lot of truck wrecks.
I was going to say that they spent most of the time chasing each other down the mountain.
Hey Joel, I've got an
Up and
idea
down
for
the
you.
mountain.
Joel, they have a soundtrack, Joel, and I think you should sing all the questions off the soundtrack next week. All of them.
What if my truck would ever get out of the shop?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what you're mad about.
Yeah. What was the truck that they robbed during Fast and the Furious?
During Fast and the Furious?
Ooh,
Which one?
Ooh. Yeah, which one?
You mean the one with the
first
one with the DVD, the VHS TV combos that they stole?
Yeah.
That's how
The
old
one
that
that said
is?
Rogers on the side, or is that the one that they were starting to shoot everybody at?
I was gonna say, hold
Yeah.
on. No, technically they tried to rob the last one. They never actually succeeded.
Yeah, true.
That is true.
You guys remember
Yeah,
that?
we're like Fast and the Furious 21, right now.
Yeah, how many of those are there?
We're
under
at
19.
9. They
Nine.
can't come together to make 10.
No, they are doing 10. I just saw something on.
Oh, did The Rock finally
Yep,
shake
yep.
Vin Diesel's hand?
10's the last one.
Okay, do we want to take bets on what make the truck from the Fast and the Furious is? I just found it. None of you guys are all gonna.
I think you guys should double it up. And you guys ever heard of Joyride? That movie.
Right. That was the one we
Don't
did.
get Joel
question.
started.
It's a great movie.
I'd like
did
to
a
exit with
question.
my money.
Yeah,
I'd
one of
like
our
to exit
drivers
with
is the
money.
killer in that movie.
Here we go. It's a.
Damn it,
cab
Joel,
over
you're not
Freightliner.
supposed to
That's
say
not a
anything.
cab over, is it? Good gracious.
The guy's head in a jack stand.
Well, look at that.
That makes me feel really old all of a sudden.
It's a Freightliner though.
Yeah,
Jim,
that's
is that
fair.
your?
Hey, I
right.
drove one almost like that.
Thanks,
what I
Kumar.
trained
Appreciate
on.
the help, brother.
That was my truck.
Yeah, we got smoke drivers this week. Ray's helping me out. That was fun. And so, what do we got, Christian? You got some stuff put together. Let's talk a little trucking. While he's getting that ready, thanks for being on the show, Atlas.
Oh, all right.
Here we go.
Sneak that one in there, huh? All right, this one's for Lee, actually. Lee, you still on here?
Nah, it looks like we lost him.
We lost him.
Okay. Let's talk behind his back then.
There you go.
What
He's
did
taking a
Lee-
nap now that he doesn't have a beard.
Well, just because he was a police officer, what did Lee say to his belly button?
What did Lee say to his belly button? Because he was
You're
a police
under
officer.
a vest.
I was gonna say.
No, that's a little lower, Ian.
All right,
Oh,
Kumar, you
darn.
got some work to do with that time.
You guys see everything on here?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So first thing I put together was some stuff from FreightWaves. So we talked about outbound tender rejections, right? And that means when freight's getting rejected for when it gets over in the spot market. And it shows that it's down. So we're going to talk about how the spot market, some of the rejections are down, but what is causing prices to still rise in many markets. So it's the on-demand capacity remains elevated across the nation. And we know that typically happens this time of year, especially around the holidays right now with reefers. And then it goes into the holiday with dry vans and pushing the product to get it on the shelves. Normally we don't have 100 vessels at sea, but because we do, there is an expediting factor that's kind of ramping everything up. But so I pulled up and saw the 35% tender rejections for dry vans. And so Cape Girardeau, Omaha, Sioux Falls, Des Moines, Mobile, Cedar Rapids, these are the ones that have the highest or a higher portion of tender rejections. And that tends to tell you that's a good area to go into. In a minute, I'll pull up that 3D map that looks at the tender rejections versus the volume. And there is a difference. Volume is how much freight you have out of it. Rejections is just telling you what is not currently being taken by the first provider and continues to get rejected down the line. For shipper markets, again, for outbound tender rejections, for the over 25% would be, Memphis, Bowling Green, Evansville, Denver. It's a lot of the areas that we're moving guys in. I don't necessarily like the largest dry van option down later that we talk about, which is Atlanta. But Nashville, Wilmington, Tifton, those are the areas and Jefferson City, those are the areas we're sending a lot of our guys into because they do have higher rejections. And you'll also find out in a minute, they also have higher volumes. But the largest dry van volume freight opportunities, and this is again just for dry van, Harrisburg, Atlanta, Houston, Joliet, Indianapolis, Columbus, Dallas, Charlotte, and Allentown.
So that's a combination of the amount of freight and the amount of tenders rejected.
Correct. So the tender rejections are the first two here, and then the second would be the actual volume. So if you can tie up areas that are close in volume with high rejections, that's usually the perfect recipe because people are panicking saying, I need to get it out. So when we looked at this map a while back, and I just took a screenshot, it's not interactive. This really tells you the color would be the actually outbound tender rejection. And then the height would be the volume, right? So how high it stacks would be that the volume of freight, if there's 1,000 loads versus 100 based off of their index. And as you can see, there are a lot of freight, but there's not a ton of rejections going on when it's a lighter color. And where it's starting to stack up and they're heavier areas that are darker in blue, those are the areas that we want to lay in. And this would be it right here. Kind of an opposite C curve of the Mississippi.
So it seems to me that those dark ones, like it looks like, was that part of the Dakotas?
Yep.
So there's not as much volume, but high tender rejection.
Yes, high tender rejection, correct.
Yeah.
And typically, if you're in a place that has a decent tender rejection, but it's got a larger volume, later in the day freight tends to be a lot better. So if you have a guy landing late somewhere and you can follow it into, the Western Tennessee, something like that, it's going to be a greater opportunity because there are freights. And as you know, certain states have more 24/7 facilities. If you're in Columbus, Ohio, or even down towards Wytheville, Virginia, you and up back towards Pennsylvania, there are a lot of facilities that are 24/7 to drop into. And if you do that with a higher volume and a rejection rate, then it's going to be a winning recipe every time. So when you're bouncing out of these areas, you can do it. It doesn't mean that just because they're light, they're not good. We all know where Florida's at right now and kind of West Texas in this area. For dry van freight, it doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that if you're playing the probability or the odds card, this is where I'm going to be. As you saw, to kind of back up that theory to say that volume might be up, but postings might be down, but rates still might be going up. This is also, so if you look at the DAT, dry van, load to truck ratios down 21.5, but spot rates are up 3.1%. Flatbeds down, and it's pretty much neutral in there. Reefers down a little bit, but the rates are up. And that's because, people want to make sure they have their holiday meats and their proteins, so they're going to get moving. So the demand for the rush for the holidays is dictating the market more than volume is in certain areas.
On that note, Christian, I was on the DAT this week. They were talking about with reefer and the holidays coming up, Thanksgiving coming up. They're trying to move stuff off quicker this year because they understand that there's less trucks on the road.
Yeah.
So they're clearing their inventories quicker for Thanksgiving on the reefer side. A lot of places right now.
Yeah, we used to do like 100 loads of turkeys in 30 days, and then now it's crazy. They're saying, well, how much can you handle? And our pricing just wasn't there. They wanted to be in a place that we're not comfortable going to, but at the end of the day, they wanted to shrink the time frame.
Yeah.
So when you start talking about how quick they can produce and they get it out, when they start talking about team driving and round trips, then they're in a pinch. So the good rule of thumb is keep it up, regardless of what they tell you about the spot post ratios and people getting, it's a little harder to find freight. Continue to bang the phones and the freight will continue to show up.
Speaking of the turkeys, before you go on, North Carolina, Kevin, number 2 turkey market in the country. And it's actually up 20 cents per mile to $2.58 plus fuel this week. Does anybody know the number 1 turkey market? For fresh turkeys, we're talking about, not sliced lunch meat. Does anyone know?
Kansas.
Texas.
Kansas BB.
I don't know either. That's why I asked you guys.
Oh. It's Turkey Land.
No, I didn't have a chance to look it
Istanbul.
up, but maybe Ian can look it up and find out what's the number 1 turkey market for fresh turkeys.
The
North
state
that
North
largest, North
turkey
Carolina
exporter.
Fresh turkey. North Carolina was number 2.
Number two.
All right, Christian, sorry about that.
No, you're good, man. Good. No, you're
Thought
fine.
it was
So,
interesting.
kind of short on time, I ended up just posting a little piece from the occupancy revenue. So I have the 4 basic reefer drivers and 2 dry van below it. On the top 4 reefers, we do have our goals set at $10,000 for target revenue for guys that work a full week.
Minnesota.
Minnesota. There you go.
Interesting. And Christian, I see 86%. Last week we were talking about occupancy.
Yep.
And I couldn't remember exactly, but you
I saw
said
that. I heard that.
Yeah. So we were right. It was 86%. If you occupy the truck 86% of the time, you're guaranteed success if you do things right.
Absolutely. And a lot of times it's 72, but a guarantee is a lot better than a wish. So
yeah.
And so you look at guys here, right? He occupied at 86% of the time. He had 127% return. So he did 10,900 with the $10,000 target, and that he was also home on Tuesday. Driver B did the exact same thing, except came in at $12,900 for a $10,000 target. 100% of the week, 129%. Driver C just shy of the goal there. I'm not sure what went on, to be honest with you. I'll have to look that one up. But I fell a little short. But hey, making 98.50 in a full week's not a bad week to start off with. And then again, the last reefer driver, 10,600 on a 10,000 goal. And, you know, a lot of it's, you know, Virginia, Indiana, Ohio, stay in that same realm that we talked about. We'll bring them down to Virginia and Carolina a bit because we do have a freight that picks out of Dobson and Lumber Ridge for Mountain Air. And that goes right back up to Michigan and Ohio. So if you guys need freight and you're in Carolina and you're in a reefer and you need to get back up towards Michigan or Ohio, give us a call. Give Brian a call, extension 1033.
Could have used that earlier.
Well, you know, we're here now. So then we also have dry van freight here, driver A and B. First one, $7,000 target is his just because of his home time, his requirements. Was out 86% of the time, took a reset, and technically would still end up having a Sunday for Monday. $7,150 on a $7,000 target. And then our company truck, which is home every single weekend. We roll him at 86 just because he doesn't get a full 2 days off. It's some days he'll get more than that, but some days he is shorted a little bit, and 117% on that information here. And my mouse has disappeared. There we go. And that's the end. There it is.
That's cool. I love it when you go over the tender rejections and the areas and show that map. It's really.
Wait, where was the big guy? Yeah,
the big guy.
Hold on. I don't want to disappoint here.
It's not over till the fat dude on the seesaw.
There he is.
There
we go. He looks so unhappy.
Because I've had some guys in the southeast. I've been having trouble, you know, getting their.
Oh man,
it's not getting anybody booked, but you know, getting the rates that I want to get.
Yeah, volume's there, but not the rates.
Right, and that's what I was talking about with Atlanta. It's like, hey man, I appreciate the volume, but if your rates aren't there, I'm wondering if some of the shipments coming in off the ports as the holiday gets closer, if that's going to make that a little hypertensive and to pick up towards the holidays. And it would be nice because we have some guys that live down there, and going through the holidays, it'd be nice to get them home more often and still end up making just as much or more money. But it is a more volatile place to send guys right now.
I've noticed it too, Mike. I mean, we've talked about it in here, but I do think that it's just a temporary little dip. Things dip, and we're getting ready to come into the holiday season, like you said. I think it's gonna pick right back up because the volume's there. That's not slowing down.
Right.
So
yeah. Well, plus you guys come south for the winter. You know, the guys
That's
a lot of drivers. You know, I was one of them. I didn't run up north too much. You know, I called myself a fair weather driver.
You were.
I chased the.
I chased the good weather. Snow.
Right.
A little bit of white stuff.
I stayed in the north. I guess because I'm from here and I grew up and it doesn't bother me.
That's where the money is.
And yeah, it was good.
I'll pick a couple of the big cities next week, and I'll go on DAT. When you go to Rate View, it shows you the index of trucks per loads per day and how it cycles through the day as far as when trucks enter the market and freight leaves. And I bet what we're willing to find is those snowbirds, right, that end up wanting to stay south. It does mess up the capacity because you have a lot more trucks than you generally would. A lot of guys are still chasing money, but there's some guys that just want light loads on the southeast to go to southwest. With those trucks in the mix, and they're not as particular about rates because they're only going certain directions.
So that get below that Mason-Dixon line too, just in case the white stuff flies.
Probably way below the Mason-Dixon line because it's like West Virginia. So yeah, probably Mid-Atlantic and further south.
Yeah.
Better get that fuel anti-gel in there.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah. Winter's coming in Florida, guys.
We're not starting that one again.
How many gallons?
So
I'll show up in Florida.
300 unless you get asked the second time.
You know, all this stuff going on.
Got a flag thrown on that one, huh?
You know, last week we talked about, how we had some troubles with some shippers and receivers. Mike's had those issues with a few. We've had them here with a few. And I'm not going to revisit it, but. I thought about something the other night, and I text myself so I would remember. But you know how when people are, you see ads for truck drivers, and I've seen them for years. Professional drivers wanted, or it's always professional. Even when you pull in a truck stop, Kevin, Nate, you got doesn't it still say there's signs at truck stops say professional drivers? lounge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome
And-
professional drivers. And
Exactly. Welcome professional drivers. They want, and look, I'm all about that. I believe we should be professionals. I used to, look and, dress professional when I'd walk in a place. I spoke to people with respect, and I think we should do that. And we have a great culture on our fleet and here at Metal Arc that we do that. But, and anywhere you're going to have a bad apple here or there. But what I was thinking was, what about these shippers and receivers? I want to see signs about hiring professional dock workers, professional dock workers
and
here.
yard
Right.
dogs,
Robots.
professional yard dogs,
yard dogs, yard goats. I want to see more emphasis on them being professional too. That all the emphasis is put on the driver, and that's where I don't know. I was just going off on a tangent with myself, thinking about it the other day, and that's what came to my mind. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well,
about
what's so
that?
crazy, Russ, is when Lee delivered that Kroger load, he got down there. The appointment was 11:15, and I think he said he was in line and he was waiting, and it was getting close. So he got out of the truck and walked up to the guard to check in. It was 11:07, I think he said, when he checked in, and the lady flat out told him.
And the appointment was at 11:30. Or
no, 11:15.
11:15, yeah.
11:15, and she said, "You're lucky. You're lucky. It's not a few minutes later. We wouldn't have been able to take you."
Yeah.
And we're talking 11:07 for 11:15 appointment.
Yeah.
If he would have waited there was a good chance if he would have waited in line till he got up there to check in, they would have, turned him away.
It blows my. Well, Christian, that's the load we talked about with our driver that got. He's always on time. He's a really good guy, Greg. And he went across the country with this load to Phoenix. And we talked about it last week and was within an hour of hitting it. He was a little bit late. And it was simply because things happen, in the travels across the country. He updated everybody along the way. And they turned him away. And it took a week. And we talked about it. It took a week to get an appointment.
Yeah.
And then finally, when they did, that's how we were treated again. And we were on time. We were early. We sent another driver in. We had to put in storage and another.
Well, it says something when the storage facility the trailer was at right next door to Kroger won't deliver to Kroger. That says something. You know?
We need an Angie's list for customers. I know and Coyote was working on that and they had a rating and the average time to get unloaded and everything else. But I almost feel like I want to wrap a trailer, and I want to wrap a trailer that talks about what the cost per hour is. Mm-hmm. And they give examples like, if you hold this up 6 hours of the dock, this is the money you're costing us. And there's an indirect cost to their freight not being there, but typically the guys at the dock don't always necessarily care. If their warehouse is full, they care because they don't need any more of it. But I know Frito-Lay, when we worked with them, they were absolutely on top of, if the chips aren't there for the Super Bowl, we're not selling the Super Bowl chips, a week later, we sell them right up to it.
Yeah. I guess that's what I was thinking. That incident, it happened twice to us on two different loads. And we talked about it last week. And I just sat at home one night after work and it was just going through my mind, how it just, the emphasis on a driver being, professional everywhere you go. But how about the other side of it too? Start being a professional.
Yeah.
About how you treat our drivers, about how you treat our equipment. We're all in this together. We should be able to find a way to come together and make it work for both sides. And it's not everybody, guys. And I don't want to harp on it. There's we got a lot of good relationships, but there's some big bad apples out there too that you keep having those experiences with, over and over again, and it gets frustrating.
And you start to learn
and get away with it.
Yeah.
And it's the cost too. If they're only going to pay, $150 to lay you over for 10 hours, what's the incentive to get you unloaded any quicker? That's nothing to them,
Isn't these bumper services that we have now kind of halfway correcting some of that? Because I can remember 30 years ago taking a load into a place and you picked a guy off the street to unload your truck, and they're kind of cleaned it up as that goes, but they didn't help any as because them guys off the street, they wanted to get it off, and they wanted to get it off now, so they get
paid.
Hustle and paid, yeah.
Right.
But it's the policies of a lot of the shippers and receivers, not the lumpers,
Mm-hmm.
to getting it undone.
Right.
And I think, the one thing during COVID, we realized in that whole 30-day free fall, when truck shops, they were shutting down, you can't use our bathrooms and everything else. It's like, man, we got product on the truck. Like, and I'm not a guy that waves the flag that says the country shuts down if we don't move, but it does. And I felt like it got better for a short period of time when people understood the sacrifice. I mean, and we know what we know about Corona now, and it still is heavily fatal, right? Especially a certain few, but guys were out there, and it was like, hey, this is my job, and I'm going to get it done. And it's obviously happy birthday Marines. You guys that have served have the same ideology, but at the same time, we had guys out on the road that didn't know what was going on, and were out there every day to provide for their family and make sure the supply chain was here. And it fixed itself. It felt like at least people acknowledged it for a period of time. When you start having trucks in front of the White House, and you start giving a recognition to the drivers on the road, I felt like there was a better understanding. And now that things are kind of, I'd say, back to normal or getting there, I feel like it's very short-sighted again. And we have it at least once a week. A guy said, well, they're not going to let me use the bathroom, and I'm out of time. I got to go PC somewhere.
Yeah. And here we are. It's the truck driver that the whole, the country temporarily shut down a year and a half or so ago. Trucks didn't stop. And that was a great point, Christian. We kept rolling. We kept bringing stuff. I mean, shelves got empty, but I mean, just about every one of our drivers got COVID. And that was because they're out there walking into different, shippers and receivers in every different state in the country.
Yep.
And eventually everybody pretty much got it. Yeah. So it is the backbone of America. 100%. 100%. So check it out. I wanted to go over a couple things real quick, but before we do that, we've been in this beard contest for
Is Atlas in it? Is Atlas in it?
Atlas is in it. Well, I'm going to show you some updates on some.
Tell you what, bud, I'm in it.
There we go.
There we go.
All right. Why did the man fall down the well?
Fall down the well.
Jack and Jill something.
Come on, Johnny. Get this one, buddy.
Johnny.
No, this one's escaping me.
Because he couldn't see that well.
Oh my God!
That was the best one
good.
so far.
I love it.
That was great.
Yes.
So anyway, in the beard contest,
let's take a look at these.
Yeah, let's take a look. Here's some updates, and there's a lot of other people in.
Who's that guy?
That is Christian Sneed, and that is Atlas.
Looking good.
Looking real good.
What kind of filter did you use there?
I have no idea. That's Denny from Al's Quality Market in Barberton.
Yeah,
and that's
Denny.
Ian.
That's Denny's son.
That's the
Yeah, I was
tenured
gonna say
college
that's
professor.
dad and son.
That's Professor Ian Dunlap. He looks like a professor.
Ooh, we're getting sophisticated now.
Yeah, he is. There's Joel and Mr. Mackey.
Joel and Jim.
Joe and Jim.
Yeah.
Looking good, guys. And speaking of Jim Mackey, there's Kumar, and there's Johnny Five.
Yep.
Nice.
Speaking of Jim Mackey.
Speaking of Jim Mackey,
oatmeal
before you
pies in the
click
back.
next
Look
one,
at those oatmeal pies in the back.
Jim Mackey dropped off some beard oil today to Ian and left it here at the office. So our beards in here now are all oiled up, just so you know. And I was showing Tina.
Yeah, you
before
guys
she-
are like a day late, $1 short on that. I've already been using it.
I've never had that, so it was me and Ian are shining, smiling and shining.
Ian's even got a brush.
Ian's got a brush.
Oh yeah, boar's hair brush.
There's Mike Doty, and there's Nate Garner,
It's a Viking.
and AKA the Viking,
Somewhere
Yosemite Sam.
behind that beard is Nate Garner.
I thought that headset was spikes on his helmet there.
Nate grew that in 3 weeks.
Oh, this is going the wrong way.
What was the short guy from Lord of the Rings?
Gimli.
That's who Nate looked like.
There's Ray,
Yeah, Gimli.
Nieto, and yours truly.
Is that beard oil on your glasses there, Russ? No.
Yeah, I couldn't see a thing. I have my glasses tucked, down the thing down my shirt, and the beard kept rubbing on the glasses, and then I put them on to do something, and it was just foggy.
See, I can keep mine the same length because I got a plan for the beard contest.
There's Cody
You got
from
a plan.
Metal Arc and Kevin Lewis.
Plan.
Looking
Hit him
good.
with
I
the-
didn't realize Cody's beard was that long, Atlas.
Oh
the
yeah.
Jody High Roller. If you know, you know.
There,
That's Zach on the left.
Zach
and Patrick
Kern
Frank.
on the left and Pat Franks on the left.
That's Brooks and on the right.
There you
Air
go,
horn on
Kumar.
that one.
Right at time. And
That's
Pat
it.
Franks, his beard's normally not that long. It's gotten a little grayer. I was talking to him today. He's not on the show tonight.
Wait
but
a minute.
fancy
look,
day.
That's a
looking
tattoo.
good, Pat. Looking
Looks
good.
like a shirt.
Yeah.
A shirt
Well, he
and a tattoo are
tattooed
matching.
that. No. That's not a shirt at all. He tattooed. That's his whole tattoo right there.
Who's on the left there? I'm sorry, I missed that.
That's Pat Franks.
Pat Franks.
One of our drivers.
One of our drivers.
That's tight.
and,
That's a tight man. See, my gray doesn't look cool like that. That's a cool gray.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
got a
yours
dog.
is just Santa Gray.
He's got a dog that rides with him too.
Again,
what's
thanks.
his dog's name? I forgot.
Shotgun.
Shotgun rides with him, and Shotgun's got a beard too.
That's a perfect.
Shotgun,
That's the
right?
perfect
Shotgun
name.
with the shotgun.
Was that
Yeah,
a what?
that's a
Was that
perfect name
toothpick?
for a dog that rides on a
Yeah, that was a.
It is.
That was a toothpick at Skylar's wedding.
Yeah. So so there's some updates on the what's going on in the beard contest, and then we'll probably do another one at the beginning of December. When do you guys want to end this? We never said a date. We just said sometime in mid-December.
No,
you said Christmas.
No, yeah, you
I said before Christmas.
You said like the day before Christmas.
I didn't say that. I said week
We
before
ought,
Christmas.
it ought to be put up on social media.
I
for
think
the
we need to pick a date.
viewers to
So you guys.
do it like on the 10th of December and have it over with on the 20th.
Yeah, it's something like that. You guys have any ideas on a date? If
Christmas Eve is on a Friday, so
What do you
we
think,
don't need to do
Christian?
Christmas Eve because I've got a Santa suit and I plan on wearing that bad boy.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Well, we can
I mean,
go.
you can keep your beard. You don't have to shave it.
We can keep going. I did say the week before Christmas Eve. I figured we'd do it the show before. We could kind of have some.
Okay.
Maybe the show before. So let's work on that.
And
Everybody cool with that?
why don't we have them voted on, and whoever has the least amount of votes, then we get to pick what they get to do with it.
All right.
Oh,
I like it.
Minus
Oh,
Jim
with the
'cause
beard,
he's worked
yeah.
on his. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if you just bring the
Oh,
Fu
lamb
Man
chop.
stash, or
Yeah. That's cool. That's a great idea. So
Well, then I
so we
can't
get to
lose.
haze each other. That'd be great.
yeah, Zach's gonna have to pay. And Lee, I don't know. I think Lee might have got busy or lost his signal. He's out west, isn't he, Mike?
Yeah.
But-
Yeah, he said he was headed to Needles.
Okay, so he lost his signal. But
I was
Lee,
gonna say somewhere behind me.
yeah, Lee had to. He did tell me I'm donating 150 to the St. Jude's pool because I got to go to sleep. I can't sleep with this beard, so he shaved. So that was kind of him to make the donation and opt out. So
Yeah, he sent me a screenshot of his CPAP thing. 8 hours and 3 nights, I think it was.
yeah, that's crazy. And Tina keeps making fun of me. Like she's showing me pictures almost every day of me before this contest. She's like, man, you look so much younger in these pictures. I'm like, yeah, look at this. I got a beard longer than I've ever had.
Oh yeah, we were watching like the first show, and you look like you were in college.
Yeah, you look like 22 years old. Now you
Yeah.
look 62.
Babyface
Yeah.
Deaton. Babyface Deaton.
Yeah, 31 episodes later, this is what trucking does to you. So, all right. Well, those are cool pictures, and we'll get some more updates. And, yeah, Atlas, I was really shocked at Cody's. I didn't know it was that long. Atlas.
Yeah.
Can he just come in here and talk? Is he allowed to do that?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Sorry, guys, I got
Here he
cut
goes.
off.
This
I'm
is
back.
his last show,
Running
just so
from
you
the
know.
Why does a joke become, or when does a joke become a dad joke?
After your first kid?
When it's apparent.
When
A
it's
parent. Johnny's got these.
Oh my.
That's all I do
That's
in
funny.
my off time is I just read through dad jokes
Yeah.
on
Sounds
Facebook.
boring.
Well, clearly,
Yeah,
so
but-
does that.
No, it's
so does
entertaining.
Atlas.
What was the answer?
A
When
parent.
it becomes apparent.
Apparently you weren't listening.
Yeah, apparently you weren't paying
No,
attention.
everybody was talking over the answer.
All right.
Everybody
So
else heard it, but you.
let's get on to some trucking news, Ian. What's
Apparently
going
I'm
on
dead.
in the world of trucking news?
Actually, nothing happened.
nothing.
Crazy.
Nothing happened.
Oh, come on. There was
That's
at
the
least
show.
one crack.
What about the diesel shortage?
What about it?
The what shortage?
I don't know.
There was.
There's a lot- yeah, there's a diesel shortage between
Oh
Texas
no,
and
we're not
Arizona.
allowed to talk about that.
There
We
was
are
a-
being censored. I'm
Yeah,
just kidding.
there was a diesel shortage when I went to Columbus to see my son. Tina and I went down to see Matt. last weekend, and
You couldn't fill up your Jeep with diesel, or
no. The Pilot Flying J, in Sunbury, north of Columbus, and there was another one. I forget which one it was. They were out, and then also I pulled into a BP station to get gas in our Jeep, regular gas, to come home, and they were out. All of them were taped up. We did find another gas station, but I don't know what.
There's a cool trick in Virginia. One happened over here with the shortage last time, Russ. If you bring 50-gallon trash bags and put them in the trunk in Virginia, you can fill them up and go home.
I love that life hack.
Put them on your back seat.
Yeah. Hey, I have to make a call to this shop.
Did we cover last week that TA is also running into a gas shortage?
Yeah, I don't think we did.
It was after the show last week, but Mike,
I put that in the email, but I guess you didn't read it.
So go ahead.
But what's causing it?
Lack of fuel.
Do you want me to answer? Because I got a theory, but
go ahead.
It's not something that needs to be thrown out.
Well, we weren't doing politics on the show, not to be
no politics.
Parenting.
It's the crab people.
But if you just talk about pipeline
man
shutting
bear
down
pig.
and the exchange of fossils between in and outbound U.S., then keep it factual. We could probably talk about it.
Wait, so
I'm not on factual. I'm just on theory.
He's got a theory though.
Space about
But just
He's
call
got
my
a
cell
theory.
phone. We could talk about it.
Yeah,
all
you
night.
can text us.
Well, I don't have
anyways,
Christian's number.
on to the
Somebody text me.
news. Yes, the lizard people did attack the oil refinery. We are seeing a shortage there. But before we get into the news, here is your guys' turkey facts. Minnesota, number 1, they kill 46 million a year, or at least that was one of these years a few years ago. And then there's your North Carolina,
number 2.
Yeah, I had no idea that many turkeys are gone through. Wow. We eat a lot of turkeys here.
Okay, then.
But anyways, on to the big news, the infrastructure bill. I thought we would touch on this real quick because it's going to affect us all greatly, whether it's the roads that you're driving on or what you are moving around. They're going to be spending a lot of money. There's going to be a lot of projects that are going on. So we will run through a couple of these. $110 billion for road and bridges. I don't know if you guys have heard, but our bridges are in awful condition.
All you have to do is get on the highway in your personal car, and you'll find out real quick.
There's basically every single bridge has some high level of cracking in them that needs to be dealt with, and we've just kind of been
So that's part of this bill. That
yeah. We're gonna completely do a lot of bridges over again, and
is that 10%? Is that 10% of the whole bill? So we have an infrastructure bill, and what's that? 10% goes to bridges. Is that right?
Yes, and roads. So 39 billion public transport. I'm hoping for some more trains. I'd like to be able to take a train to work. That'd be pretty cool. Railways, 66 billion. Power grid, 73 billion. Hopefully they spend a little bit of that in Texas. Electric vehicles, 7.5 billion.
Now, those are mostly for the charging stations. To make that clear, that's not actually for vehicles. Those are for the stations, right?
Really?
Yeah, I saw that too. I saw something about that. It was about charging. About
we're running out of
facilities.
fuel, but we're worried about electric stations for cars that we don't have yet. Got it.
Yeah.
Airports, waterways, 42 billion. I did just see a report recently about how America's waterways are completely just not being used for transportation. So they are going to be possibly looking at also doing some containers on the waterways. Would like to see that on the Mississippi.
Yeah.
They can move a lot through there. And then climate change, 50 billion. I don't know what that's going to exactly go to. Drinking water, 55 billion. Broadband internet, which they've already gotten enough money. They don't need any more. 65 billion.
Maybe Doty's internet will be better.
But that's
hopefully ours will be.
But to be honest, and not to get too sideways, but the broadband internet, that's really important. If you think about how disadvantaged kids are that are out in the country that don't have, and I'm not talking FiOS, right?
Rural areas.
They're not able to compete. So I mean, and I know a lot of guys. I mean, like it's easy to get several high-speed versions where we're at, but I think that's really important that those kids out in the country and that maybe in more impoverished areas as well that don't have the same quality of speed. They can't work from home.
Yeah,
and
then for me, it's probably just a lack of education on that because I didn't realize that that's what it's for.
They got to work from Starbucks.
Yeah, you can say something.
Okay, I was just gonna let y'all know
You're
the
back.
broadband thing. Yeah, it came back. The broadband thing I think's a pretty good thing. Where my parents live in Clay County, Alabama, they have been there for 40 years, and they still do not have internet where they live.
That's a shame.
So, and that almost the whole county of the school kids do not have internet.
So is that because
whatsoever.
it's the infrastructure? It's just not
Yes,
available.
yeah.
So they got to drop lines in. And the cool thing about broadband too is they have different tower heights now, depending on what cities you're in. I was with supervisor meeting the other night, and then so they don't have to bring it all straight to the house. So they are starting to have more Wi-Fi, reliable Wi-Fi
5G
options
kinda
or
stuff.
tower options. Exactly. So you're right though. I mean, something like Clay, Alabama. I mean, and even in Bedford County, there's a lot of people in Bedford County that don't have high speed.
So-
Edgar Tuck is taking care of that for us, but.
So Lee, on that subject, what about cell service in those areas, like in Clay County? Is cell service trouble? I mean, is
Yes,
it?
they don't have Alabama Power, which is a huge. They started the power area or Southern Power for the Southeast. Alabama Power has got their own cell service, but they do not allow people to use it unless they pay a really high fee, and you have to have your own antennas. But cell service like Verizon here, anywhere pretty much in the country, I can get 5G, but out there, I still only get 1X or one bar on my service anywhere in the county. And that, to me, worrying about my parents who are elderly, I think that would help a lot of them. They still have a phone like we had when we were kids, online. Yeah, it really does.
I may have a solution for you. Look up Nomad Internet. That may be a bigger. Yeah, Nomad Internet. That's what I've got for you. Yeah, it runs off of, if you get I'm using a Nighthawk or whatever it is, and you can buy antennas for it as well.
I guess I'm pretty.
Thank you.
I'm pretty fortunate, being up here in the Cleveland area. Other than when I was on the road driving and get out west where I didn't have cell signal, but I guess we're pretty fortunate in these bigger cities that we don't ever experience that, and I don't know much about it. But yeah, I see now that's important.
Moving on, yeah. Back to topic. This is going to affect everybody a lot, not just like with how nice the roads are and whatnot, but we're going to be moving a lot more freight because of this. Especially, I'm sure flatbed's going to pick up this next summer here for, big time, not just for road construction, but for every kind of construction. So hopefully that turns out well for us. But moving on, fuel prices, we could take a look at these real quick. I just want to look at California right here. $4.70 a gallon. That is,
wow. Lee, you're
pretty cheap.
You're in Needles, right?
I am in Needles and sitting here in traffic.
What was the last fuel price you saw around there?
Well, I pay. Let's see. The last fuel price was $4.89 in Barstow,
Yeah.
and even coming across into Arizona, it's $4.19, I think.
Yeah.
Right there where everybody fills up.
Yeah.
It's going up real quick.
Mackie, what was the one that you saw?
Oh, he got it in Illinois.
Yeah, in Illinois, 358.
Nice.
358, and he.
Well, taxes have gone down.
I went 40 miles down the road, another Lowe's, and it was 398.
What is? I know this is information that's available online, but Ray, what is it in Texas? You're down there in San Antonio right now.
It's about 353 right now.
315. Yeah.
Can you see that from your Fody in the pool?
Yeah. I got a neon sign that lights up the fuel prices.
So diesel used to have a
new fuel tank. Too.
Diesel used to be 20% tax. I thought when we pulled that up in January, February, when it first started going up, I thought it was 18 or 19 or 20% when we pulled it up.
What are you seeing there? And I can't read that.
It's 15 and 17%.
Oh.
So
where's this at? in
This is
California?
it's just when you break down the cost per gallon. It used to have
okay.
it was roughly 20% went to taxes, and now it's 17. And I'm not sure if they've changed that. If they just, I mean, I know crude oil and all is all over the place, but
Yeah.
that's what
I thought you were
happened.
talking fuel tax on the gallon.
When you change your
Yeah, I
export
recalculate-
ratio and you shut down pipelines, that crude oil, you're held captive over that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But as our favorite topic has been lately.
Oh, speaking of the ports, I want to tell you guys.
Go for it.
And then you can get into it. So out on the West Coast, California, the Akinka vessel has been anchored for 53 days. Finally got unloaded and is headed back to Ian. Ian was all over this
tracking
today.
it earlier.
He's headed to Jakarta.
He's following him.
Yeah,
he's such a stalker.
This was the longest anchored vessel out there waiting to get unloaded. It took 53 days, and he's headed back to Jakarta, Indonesia. And so then Ian and I were really digging into it. It's an 11-year-old. It's an 11-year-old ship, 175 meters long. Not one of the bigger ones, but the next vessel waiting to unload is at 45 days right now. But the average unload now, as of Tuesday, was 14 days. So that seems like it's getting better. I think it was at 25 or so a week ago.
What did they do wrong that there's a 14-day average turnaround and they're sitting at 45 days?
I don't know. It could have been
They were an hour late.
The company
They
that
were an
was
hour
unloading
late.
them.
It was Kroger stuff.
Yeah. And they can't even Uber to the grocery store. Nothing.
Yeah.
Well, lucky a couple more minutes, you would have been held up.
I think there were ships out there that were like, this has been way longer on average. It's just because a week or so ago it was 25 days, so it's gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
But that was 53 days, and then the next one is 45 days at anchor, and it's still not unloaded.
Wow.
What happens if they run out of fuel?
I don't know.
They have a tugboat that'll come out to them.
Probably.
Some,
Put their
some
sails
kind
up.
of
Put the sail up.
Yeah.
Uber
Hook
Eats.
up
We
the
should
slopes,
Uber
John
Eats.
B. Still 77 anchored ships, which is a total.
I saw something this morning said 101.
Well, this is what the DAT said on Tuesday, so I'm just going off of that.
Okay.
It may have changed this morning. There might have been
Yeah.
25, 30 ships, or 23 more ships or whatever, but
More coming right now.
77 at anchor as of Tuesday morning, which is a total of 511,000, almost 512,000 containers out there. So go ahead, Ian, on your port stuff.
I just really wanted to take a look here and go over the fact I saw there was something that said that there was 101 ships anchored out there now waiting to get unloaded. Seattle's looking very, very busy still. And then I was going to take a look at Florida. It looks like things are starting to get a little bit better down here in Port of Miami. There are more cargo vessels than there have been. Get up to Tampa, there's a few more. There's actually now, Mike, there are 2 ships waiting outside of Tampa Harbor.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Or Tampa Bay.
Container ships, yeah.
Yeah.
Which weren't there. We didn't see any.
No,
Yeah.
they're so far those are the first ones that I've seen waiting to get into Florida. And then Savannah, of course, is still doing just as well as it was last week.
What about the Virginia area, is that Newport News, Christian, where the naval bases and stuff? Don't they have any? Do they have a port there?
This is actually where I was going next.
Okay.
They also have a few that are out there drifting right now. 1, 2, 3 that are just drifting right now, waiting to get into port. And there's actually quite a few up here as well that are just sitting there. So still looking busy. Ports are filled up. New York now has a couple. So yeah, they definitely have started moving ships elsewhere. Man, I don't even want to look at China again. I mean, that is such a mess.
It's all green.
Wow. That is such a mess. I mean, the ones that are the dots are the ones that are
It
waiting.
looks like gangrene.
What's that? Who had a question?
Lee.
Lee.
So,
What's up, Lee?
You know, Mike and I have been kind of talking back and forth about a market analysis going from now until, say, March. And I kind of think that with the way things are trending, you know, I may be wrong, but Christian, maybe you can look at it or explain it better. That some of this is gonna, after Christmas, they're gonna start slowing down, and the market out here in California is gonna get slower, and maybe move to some of these other ports that are starting to open up.
Well, Lee, we talked about that several times in the last month. So it's hard to move those ships that are coming from into the West Coast from Asia, because you got to send them down. It's an extra week and a half to 2 weeks to go through the Panama Canal. The Panama Canal is not set up for it, so they're landlocked. You can't go into the Gulf that easily. You know, there's land, South America. You got all of Mexico. The Baja Peninsula, Ian, that runs down to the Panama Canal. So
I thought they opened the Panama Canal up and built
it is
a
open.
new.
It is.
Yeah,
Open.
It's more expensive now, so there are people trying to avoid it for that. But yeah, there are like those super cargo ships. They can't fit through there. The canal is only so wide. So there's some that just physically can't.
There
can't
it is.
Go
I
there.
mean, the canal's small.
I thought they rebuilt it though this past about 5 years ago. So
Oh
that
no,
seaplane
no,
could
that's
come
a huge operation. I mean,
yeah, that's your canal right there. You can see how small it is, and I don't know the
north part,
how long it is too, but it's not very big either way. I mean, and so there's a ton of traffic, and then also the cost of moving a ship from the West Coast all the way down through and then back up, and then you're not set up. And Texas is set up, Ian, for fuel, right? For fuel ships.
Yeah. Most of Texas is and that's also a problem with Florida as well. Everyone's like, oh, send the ships to Florida. They can handle it. They just don't have as many facilities that are set up for removing these containers.
I mean, you got to think about it. 500,000 containers are sitting at anchor right now, and still coming.
Aside from moving the ships to different ports, I was just thinking of not necessarily a fall off on freight, but I was just thinking of rates dropping because there's not going to be the holiday push. We talked about it before. The rate's only going so high where they're going to say, okay, this stuff doesn't need to be moved now. It'll move when it moves, and it'll get there when it gets there.
Well,
we're not going to pay.
Yes and no. Yes and no. I was talking to my father-in-law, who's a Bose rep, and he's like, man, our stuff's been out of the ocean for like a month. And he's like, look, we're trying to get it here. We've got stuff behind it trying to get here. So he said it's going to take 6 to 8 months to get caught up.
Sure.
The holiday push, yes, it may not be there. But you have to look at several factors. You have those 3 senators from Florida that are trying to push a $125 million bill through to help reroute ships. Now, Chinese vessels would not be able to use that money, but anybody in the U.S. would. So they're still trying to reroute them. I don't think the supply demand is going to change much because of the capacity of carriers. I think we're going to be in a very good winning position for a while with it. January, I think what's going to happen is
this is going to last a while.
I believe that January is going to be a bigger January this year than it ever has been, because people understand that not everything's going to be there by Christmas. We're going to have tax returns and things start to flow in, right?
Well,
and
Christian, think about this too. Those ships that have been sitting there for 45 days or 30 days, or this isn't even the Christmas crunch, or that stuff's not on these ships, So
some of it is depends on the storage and warehousing. Some of it is because they basically stock things for Black Friday. You walk into Best Buy now. They've got all the televisions they have on the floor.
Yeah, a lot of these companies expected to have a lot of delays. So
they were ordering
September, October, they were ordering as much as they could as early as possible, maybe even before that, because a lot of them were expecting a lot of this to happen.
Yeah.
So.
And I don't know if you look at, let's look at like in a trucking world where if we had to go to California, they say, well, sorry, we're not unloading here. You got to go to Corpus Christi or go to Florida. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking, okay, and the rate confirmation is going to say they're going to pay us $1.25 a mile because we signed it, as a rerouting, tool. If I was a vessel owner, you could not pay me enough money to pull my truck, my vessel out of California to go to Florida. The indirect cost of having that long voyage, regardless of what ancillary increases we can have, does not cover the cost of that ship going, what'd you say, it was 30 days round trip or something like that on average, 13 each way.
Mm-hmm.
And
think about on top of that.
Absolutely. And the labor costs and the wear and tear and everything else. And the vessels to end up going all the way to Florida and all the way back, because that's a huge ask. There's $125 million doesn't start to cover that. But I think we talked about it 2 weeks ago about some of the regulatory changes that can happen. And I think if the CEOs are meeting with the Biden administration right now, talking about how can we fix the supply chain, I think we need to roll back some regulations. And I'm not saying that from a political standpoint. I'm just saying that from a practical standpoint. I think California got themselves in this mess with the independent contractor laws and a lot of the carb emissions. And we have guys on our fleet that can't go into California. We'd love to help out, but we can't. So unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be fixed right away. But the good news is it means the price of freight should stay up for a while.
Yeah. And that's what the DAT, I mean, when you listen to the guys from the DAT, they're saying the same thing. There's no end in sight in getting this back.
Unless market confidence. If market confidence drops, we're going to have a horrible problem because we're going to have so much inventory and nobody buying it. And that's the scary part is if something happens to the economy sometime in the next 6 to 8 months, there's going to be a huge problem and repercussions for businesses that are investing in growth.
Right.
And you still got a large number of truckers who are owner-operators and refuse to go to California at all.
Correct.
So, I mean,
absolutely.
That's always
Great
going to
point.
be.
Great point, Ray. That's perfect.
I have had some guys changing their mind lately, though, that have never gone to California that have been like, well, okay, I can pull 9-10 grand out of there like
or
it's
more.
nothing. Like,
Yeah, you're going to have a few because I'm one of those that don't like to go to California, but I mean, I can't say
you've
no
gone
to these
several
prices.
times now.
Yeah, I can't say no to these prices. But there are drivers out there that no matter what it does in California, they're not going.
Robert.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, we've
about
got a
ready
few
to be that way.
What's that, Kevin?
I said I'm about ready to be that way.
He's about ready. He's about over it. All right, Ian.
Yeah, anything else you guys want to add about the ports?
No, that's it.
All right. We'll go ahead and move on. Some lighter stuff. Well, not that this is really much lighter.
I need an atlas to find it.
Oh, boy.
Atlas. Oh, you
That's
got two
bad.
jokes now.
I gotta figure out how to. do my
Hold on.
video.
I have to stop screen sharing. There
There
we
you
go.
go.
All right. Sundays are always a little sad, but the day before is a Saturday.
Oh, that was a one-liner.
That's a great joke, Atlas.
I like it. That was good.
Okay.
5 out of 4 people admit they're bad at fractions.
That's true. Did you guys know that they made a third a pound burger to compete with the quarter pounder, and people didn't buy it because they thought it was less meat?
They thought it was smaller.
That's a true story. That's factual information.
That's funny.
Yeah, and sad, but funny too.
I liked what you sent me and Doty, Christian, last week. It was the shape of the Florida, and it said the U.S.'s mullet. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, go to Doty's hat real quick, and you'll see the flowing mullet on his hat.
Yeah, can you do that?
Oh boy,
it's the state of Florida, and it's funny. It does. It's America's
you can never
mullet.
unsee it. I was looking.
I know.
At it
I see it now every time I see it on a map.
My haircut.
America's
So,
mullet.
hey, looks like a mullet, and they put sunglasses out there on the golf.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
I was cracking up when you sent that. That was funny.
Going back to the ships, what's the do you know the average? How many containers those ships carry?
No, I mean they vary so much.
It depends on the size. Like
yeah.
the one we mentioned, the A Kinka was a smaller ship, but the 77 that are anchored off the coast of Long Beach has 500,000, has 511,000 containers. So I mean, you can do the math on that divided by 77.
Well, I was just reading, or Lee just sent me they did redo the Panama Canal. So the original canal locks are 110 feet wide and 10 times as long. For a century, they accommodated shipping, and the term Panamax ships was used to describe ships built to fit through the canal. But ships kept getting bigger, and in 2007, the work began on a multi-billion-dollar expansion of the canal. In 2016, a third wider lane of locks opened for commercial shipping, capable of handling post-Panamax ships that can carry 14,000 20-foot shipping containers, nearly 3 times the Panamax ship capacity.
Well, so think about that. It can carry 14,000 containers. You said, right?
Yeah, that's what can.
On just the 77 that are sitting off of Long Beach, there's 511,000 containers. So that's, maybe they've beefed it up, but it's not enough to
get some of those super ones.
Yeah.
So the world's largest container ships that carry 18,000 shipping containers, those are the ones that can't fit through. So 18,000. It sounds like the world's largest container ships only carry 18,000. So
Containers,
yeah, and when they redid it, the ships that can carry up to 14,000 shipping containers can fit through there.
And that's I didn't know that they redid it, but it's still, and I've read it and Ian's read it. We've looked at stuff in here. It's not just the size and what they can handle down there. It's also, like you said, Christian, it's about the 30-day
it's the reroute. Yeah,
the 2 weeks out and 2 weeks back. You're going to reroute, and then fuel and time and everything else.
And they're saying that 80% of the liners and shipping, container production and all is controlled by 16 companies. I read that on FreightWaves. So 80% of all the world's liners are by 16 different companies. Yep.
And I'm sure they're like us too. If the money's there, they'll gladly come to Florida, right? Or Texas, or wherever you want them to go. But like you said, if it's like us, if we get to a receiver and they're telling us no, it has to go to North Carolina instead of Texas, we're like, well,
show me the money
at.
Yeah. Right.
So
Jerry Maguire.
Okay, Ian.
Okay, yeah. Last couple things here. Here we go. All right, this was I think this was over in Maryland. A driver was trying to avoid a raccoon and hit a house.
Wow.
Apparently
the same thing.
Yeah, they said it is uninhabitable now, but
rule of thumb, and I've hit animals when I was driving. I know you guys have drivers.
Just hit them.
I love animals. I hate hitting them, but run them over, man. Don't flip the truck.
Give that driver a lie detector test. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Did anybody see the raccoon?
It was a possum.
Right.
And then, oh boy, out on 70, a driver had crashed his truck. It doesn't have the picture of him. Oh no. Anyways, he was found nearby shortly after, completely naked.
So again, drivers, thanks for being on. All our vets on all the fleets everywhere. Thanks for your service. Tomorrow, have a great day, Veterans Day. With that, Christian, you got anything else?
I think when you announce the sports teams when we check out, instead of saying Indians or Guardians, you should say Guard Indians.
Guard Indians.
And just put them together.
It looks the same when you see them next to each other.
It does.
At the end of the word.
Yeah.
We noticed that when they first changed it.
Yeah.
Guard Indians. Well, right now we don't even know, I guess, because someone's suing them.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be the Spiders, but by the time
I hope it's the
baseball
Spiders.
again, I like the Spiders. Yeah.
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 You guys have a lot of spiders up there?
No, the Cleveland Indians, before they were the Indians, they were the Spiders.
Way
back.
Oh, really?
1850s.
Yeah, so that was one of the choices, and that was my pick.
It's so easy to market, too. I mean,
yeah, the merch was sick.
Yeah. Mike, you got anything else before we get out of here?
No.
All right. Good show, guys. Kumar?
Yeah, I just wanted to, one more time, plug the social media. We'll be posting quite a bit throughout the week, so follow us on pretty much any social media at Talkin Truckin.
There's going to be a picture of me in that outfit, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that.
Well, and I've been liking, and Kumar, kudos to you. I've been getting a lot more Facebook feeds coming in, and I'm liking them a bunch. So they're coming over. It feels like every hour.
We've got Facebook. I'm not a social media guy, but we have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
We'll be doing TikTok dances.
And he's got
week.
some. Kumar's been working on some clips too, all throughout the week this week. So that's going to be pretty exciting what he's been working on. Right. And other than that, Atlas.
Russell still has a rotary phone.
I have a rotary phone. Atlas, do you have a rotary phone?
I don't. But for all the single people out there, let me get the video sharing again. All right.
For all the cool kids, the single people.
Yeah. Stop looking for the perfect match. Just use a lighter.
I love it. Thanks for being on. Thanks, guys. Have a great, safe week, and go Browns. Go Guard-Windians. I don't know.
Gargoyles. Semper Fi, Marines.
Go Cavaliers, man. They're doing good. You guys have a great weekend. Safe drive, safe travels.
Hey, Russ.
You forgot about the Browns.
And go Browns. I forgot. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, don't forget that I'm gonna start sponsoring your show too. So.
Oh, and
Gardens
I'll
on
take
Air
any
will
cash
start
donation.
sponsoring you.
a little plug there for Gardens on Air for Lee. All
That's
right,
right.
guys. Take care, everybody. Appreciate you.